on, I just want to record. Should I record this? I don't know. Anyway, so, you know, in my heart, you know, I'm working on just appreciating everybody, and with, you know, doing trauma work, I'm really embracing kind of the state of the world these days. There's so much pain and so much division and so many opposing opinions. And I really want this to be a safe space, our team and this place, our UBT group. You know, I know that there's a lot of very, very divisive opinions right now. And, you know, I just want to say that, like, I support you. And, you know, as leaders, we come together to support each other here. And that I embrace all of your opinions and all of where everybody is at. And, you know, and I appreciate the same from all of you. And so I wanted to share that there was, I have a relationship coach who I've been working with for years, even not just within my personal relationships, but he's like he does compassionate communication. His name is Scott Katamas. And he is just this incredible love, and he does things like midwives people through death process. He's like a death doula. And he just recently helped one of my friends pass. And I watched this friend of mine who chose to euthanize after struggling with really severe cancer and being really sick for a long time. I watched that whole process on a Zoom, and the guy who was dying really wanted it recorded, really wanted to reach out to his friends and have this kind of process together. And then Scott did a video for people who are feeling divided around the whole vaccine issue. And he brought this Zoom together and was like, this is for everyone. This is for people on both sides of the issue. This is about unity. This isn't about voicing our opinions. This is simply about creating a safe space for people to recognize that we're all common blood, all common, you know, thread, and that we love each other and want to come together in a time that's really challenging. And so I just wanted to make a safe space here and, you know, give a chance for, you know, we're not going to talk about, Purium doesn't hold a position, okay? On Purium itself doesn't hold a position on, you know, the current situation. Purium is purely about superfoods for supporting our immune system, superfoods for supporting like what we're doing in the world, for giving us energy, for giving us health, for dealing with whatever kind of health crises arise in our life. There's support, you know, either way. There's support for, you know, people who choose not to be vaccinated, and there's support for people who choose to be vaccinated. I said the B word. But literally, like, it's so important. You know, I have so many friends on this team, and I know their status and they know mine, and they're both vaccinated and unvaccinated. And I want you to know I love you all. And I really appreciate that we can, you know, come together and, you know, not be divided by, you know, where we stand, you know. So I felt like naming that because it's really important to me that all of you feel safe and know that I respect, you know, you and your research and whatever you've learned and whatever you feel is what you need to do. And so I want to give a chance for, you know, anybody who, I don't want people to share opinions or where they stand on this topic, but I would love if anybody just wants to like pray into the group, you know, just like say a little like loving prayer or like say something heartfelt here, you're welcome to. I just wanted to kind of give us like maybe like 5 or 10 minutes just to kind of acknowledge this, if anyone feels called to speak.
I'd like to say something, Rachel.
Thank you.
I'd like to say that your heart is the most truest I have ever known in my life. And the tremble in your voice is just so honest. And I hear you so loud and clear. And I feel you so loud and clear. And I want to thank you for saying all that you've just said. It's a tough time. It's a tough time, and there's a lot of battling going on, and there's a lot of family feuding happening. And I really appreciate that you've held this space, that you're opening this up to hold for a united container, because there isn't a lot of that that's happening out there. So I truly appreciate you. And I just wish that more people had the heart that you do, because we need it. So thank you.
That's very kind of you, Tal. Thank you so much. Whew. We are all allies to each other, because we all have one common mission, which is we all want to help others, and we all want to do what's right for ourselves and our children. And it's a very personal decision, and I feel like it deserves respect wherever we stand on that.
Yeah, thank you for opening this space, Rachel. And I agree with what Tal said, very much so. I definitely agree. Having spaces to be united is so, so important right now, and having spaces to find mutual respect. And so I would love to share just a little short prayer for us. Thank you for the invitation and for navigating such a challenging topic with so much grace, because we never want to shut anybody out. We don't want to, it's not that we don't care that it's not important around taking a stance. It's that we don't want to create any segregation, any pushing of anybody away. We want everyone to know that they're welcome to be here in this community, and to receive the blessings of what we have here, no matter what their feelings or stances are. So thank you for navigating that neutrality with a lot of love. And I also feel that having the space to be transparent with our feelings with each other is also really important too. So you're striking a really beautiful balance with that. And it's hard to know what to say when we want to stay neutral, but having the place to share is important. So thank you so much. And I'll just say a really quick prayer for us. Great Creator, Mother Earth, we are your children calling for support and love. And thank you for all of the love and support that you give us through all of the plants that come through Purium, all of the natural beauty surrounding us. And we know that as Earth's children, we are provided for, that we are safe, that we are protected. And as Earth's children who are here with compassion for a mission to bring attention to you and your voice, we ask that you speak to us clearly, that we may hear your needs, Mother Earth, that we may be a voice for you, Mother Earth, that we may be a voice to help our brothers and sisters and families return to the natural ways of connecting with the earth, feeling grounded whenever we're needing support, that we may touch you, that we may feel your energy and your support, that we may have beautiful support with our nutrition, with Purium, and with other healing foods and support to our bodies. We ask that everyone who is ill or diseased right now in any way, mind, body, or spirit, be supported in their healing, that they may have the resources that they need, that they may have the community that they need, and that anyone who is struggling or suffering be supported through that process in a gracious, compassionate, loving way. We ask that everyone going through transitions right now, whether that be transition to the next life or transition to another version of our own life, that they may have peace and knowing that this transition is in their healing and highest benefit. And we ask that we may be stewards of you, Mother Earth, that we may continue to walk in a good way, walk with our individual beliefs, that we may find community beyond, even beyond our Purium community, who we connect and resonate with, that peace may come between families who are struggling, that peace may come between friends who are struggling, and that we may shine with our light, supported by our plant nutrition, that we may shine freedom codes of sovereignty, of choice, of mutual respect for each individual, and of unity, so that we may inspire more unity within our smaller and larger communities, more unity within ourself and our own integration, and that those out there who are wondering, is there anywhere that is shining unity? Is there anywhere that is shining love? That they may find us, and that they may know that they're safe to be themselves here, that they'll be respected and loved here, no matter what. Ashe, Aho, Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Whoa. It felt so good. And then, you know, then we also have people who have different spiritual beliefs on this team. We have all different kinds of ways that we tend politically and spiritually, and there's room for all of you. There's room for all of it here. So I embrace you all, and thank you so much for that beautiful prayer, Nova. Would anyone else like to say anything?
Sure, I would.
Thanks,
You know, I've been processing this for a while because, boy, I spend a lot of time on social media, and by God, the polarity is extreme. And just not to let myself get caught up in it. I mean, kind of, what's that old saying? If it don't apply, let it fly. I mean, I have very strong beliefs, but just not engaging in all the argument, if you will, and keeping my center and realizing this isn't what I'm here for, to argue with people or to have to convince them of my way or anything, right? I mean, I very clear with what I'm doing with my dreams and goals, and just stay on target, if I will, and support others. Bring the ones along that want to come along.
Yeah, I want to just speak to that, like, as we're posting, just that we, you know, be conscious of, like, when we posting, are we posting, you know, our opinion with kindness, and with also respect for other people's views, and in a way that's also, like, not shaming or blaming others. But if we're trying to educate on our posts, that's one thing, and we're trying to, like, bring awareness, that's another thing. And then there's like, straight up, like, when we engage in the battle of shame or blame or anger, like, then that starts creating fear, and no one's going to listen to us. So you know, either way, I don't post my opinion on my thread, but I, you know, do just, like, recognize that people feel that's what their platform's for, and I respect that. And so just, you know, if we can just all be mindful and just think about, like, you know, how we would speak if we were in a room with the people who we're engaging with, and what kind of message we want to deliver, and what kind of invitation we want to create. We are still attracting our team and our brand partners, and so how can we, you know, be in the love with our thoughts and our opinions and still be respectful. All right. Cool. Is there anyone else? No one has to. I just want to make sure that people feel free to share.
I will, Rachel.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Yeah. So this is a hard one for me because I have some very strong opinions, as many of you know. And I've really been doing my work around all of this. And I want to thank you, Rachel, for that recording. I listened to the entire thing, and I've shared it with many people. that I love and care about, who are also grappling with how to not shame, blame, or create further trauma with what already is going on that is very difficult. And so I just want you all to know that I'm doing my work, and I've got a lot more work to do. I don't think we're ever done in terms of our spiritual work, our evolutionary work. And, I'm just grateful for you all who disagree with me, for your forgiveness. And likewise, my interest is to be a leader who unites and not divides. And so that's the very sort of trepidatious walk that I'm on right now, how to know what I know and share what I share, and still create unity. So that's my work right now. And so grateful for your leadership, Rachel, and having you as a side by as we navigate these really rough waters right now for humanity. It's not easy being human right now. And I've cried a lot, more than I ever have. I'm not really a crier, but lately, like, the trauma is real. It's really real. And when you're in the minority, like I am with my opinions, that's very hard because we're tribal by nature, right? We're tribal by nature. And when you step out of the tribe with your thoughts and opinions, it's a little isolating, right? And so how to navigate that isolation and still remain connected in love and in our hearts. This is my work right now. So I'm blessing us all and sending us all so much love and a big group hug.
Oh, big group hug. Thank you, Stephanie. And also the really quickly, and then Jessica, the link, actually I shared with Stephanie about, showing both sides, not having an opinion, but like it was Scott Thomas basically bringing people together to just be in the love. If you feel like sharing that link, Stephanie, in the comments, I actually don't have access to it right now.
I did share, just scroll up. I shared it, Rach. Scroll up. It's way, way,
everyone
way
scrolls up, maybe reshare it in case anyone else jumped on, but it's a beautiful video that was just for people to come together. And in that actual Zoom, there are people who are on both sides. And so it's definitely was for people who have all different opinions to really find their way back to love. Thank you. So Jessica.
Yeah, I really, again, want to echo what a lot of people have said and appreciate that you are bringing this up right now, because it is so prevalent and so real pretty much every single day. I feel like I find myself in conversations with people on both sides of the spectrum. And what has become very clear for me, and I've even started using.
Welcome everybody. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamba.
Sorry.
Using
at least we know you're watching it.
Using a word that I hear Stephanie use a lot, which is activism, and it's just being in these conversations and being where we are right now has made it very clear to me. I mean, I don't know how many times I've actually brought it back to, well, here's what I'm doing about it. I'm helping people with their health through this, through this product or whatever. And no matter who, and it's been a lot of conversations with brand partners or potential brand partners, but that it's just very clear that no matter what, like what we are doing right here, right now with this product and with this intention is what will unify us. And that's become kind of like the beacon for me, the pillar that I do feel grounded in. And so that's what I return to often every single day. And so, yeah, it's, no matter what, and I try not to engage too much on either side because I also have strong opinions, but it is seeking out that unity and grounding out, and it's just very simple and very clear, and so that's how I'm moving forward with it. So
Super, thank you so much. Steph?
Yeah, I have one more thing to say. As a leader in this company, as the chair of the Million Mom Movement, I want you all to know the position of the Million Mom Movement, because this is really important. So we are only ever on Fierce Fridays speaking to how to detox. If anyone talks about vaccines on Fierce Friday, or in any capacity, that is all that you will ever hear from us, is about nutrition, the business, economic empowerment, and how to detox effectively from anything, including vaccines. So we do have a position blog on our website that we wrote as a council, and that we shared with Amy before we published it. So if you'd like to read that, I welcome you to go to Million Mom Movement. I can find the link. I'll find the link and put it in the chat, but just go to the Million Mom Movement blog if you want to read more. And please know that that's a safe space. For the last couple of weeks on Fierce Friday, we've had these Ask the Council events, and the vaccine, COVID, it's all come up. And I'm really proud of the way that the council's been handling it, and the whole field. We absolutely have created a safe place to explore how we can all remain safe during these times. And this is what I loved about Scott Katamas's recording, is we all have the same universal values, but how we're choosing to meet them is what's differing. And so that was really beautiful, to find the universal values that we can all connect on. And just the troubleshooting that they offered and the examples that they shared, I highly recommend that everyone watch it. It was so good.
Yay, thank you so much. Love it. Really appreciating the growth, of all of us together here. And on that note, one of the topics that for this week is unity in your shares, in your lives, is unity, and focusing on that concept and how we can bring people together during these hard times where people are feeling divided. Were there any other people who wanted to share? I want to give everyone a chance if anyone else had something they wanted to say. Go ahead, Kat.
I'll be quick. Yeah, thank you so much for everyone who's been sharing, and for Rachel for creating this space. I'm sure that most of you have felt, in the collective, like this buildup, and it's just going to continue. This is really just the beginning. And so any narrative that plays into divide or separation is part of an old paradigm that we are stepping out of. But being in it and bringing awareness to it, and then choosing to be in our heart, choosing to be of service, choosing to hear people, and to really listen, and to not engage in any kind of narrative that is really, creating more of that divide is so important. And to have those safe spaces, and to come back to what is important, and how we want to be, and how we want to show up. And it's so important. So thank you. But it's just the beginning. This is just part of how we evolve the consciousness of an entire collective. It's just the shadow, the darkness, everything's got to be seen. And it's about being sovereign, like to choose what's right and best for you, for us, and to let everyone else have their own experience wherever they are. So yeah, just echoing everything that everyone else has said. And that's my 2 cents. And I have another meeting that I've got to step off to. I wish that I could stay in this pocket, but thank you.
Thanks, Kat. Okay, well, I think we've spent a nice 10 to 15 minutes on that, and this is a good segue. Last week we talked about, and for those who just jumped on, we've been talking about unity. We're talking about, just being a safe space for anyone's you know, no matter where we all stand on any issue, that this is a place where there's diversity, and that this is a safe place for us to be diverse in our thoughts and opinions. We don't have to necessarily share them here, but we can know that we're different and that we all have a place where we accept each other as we are. Just, you know, bringing the love in. And so last week we talked about going live and topics for going live, how to lead with the business and what that means. And one of the things we talked about was that leading with the business means coaching people in your lives, being a coach for your audience through life, like being a life coach. Essentially, you could be a life coach, a health coach, a business coach in your delivery. So, you know, we could go onto our lives and just talk about our day, or we can go onto our lives and contribute value. Like, what is it that we want to impart? What I'd like you to think about when you're going live, when you're sharing on social media, is what do I want my viewer to walk away with? How do I want to impact their life? What do I want them to walk away with? How can I impact their life in a positive way? What is some bit of wisdom or knowledge that I have that can help the people in front of me and help them feel connected to me and feel in relationship with me, that I'm here to help them, right? There's this woman, I think her name is Ritual of Heart, that I've been following to the point that now we're kind of chatting in the back on the side. And she doesn't have any product, she doesn't have any website, and she has a huge following. And I just love every day to hear her messages in the morning. I like listen to her every day, and she just has a beautiful message every day. She makes blog posts that have wisdom about, you know, relationships mostly, and then she speaks. And so I really study influencers and how they'll have like a unified message. And the thing that they all have in common is that they're helping and that they're contributing value, and they're saying something that's like, how can I be of service? So we don't have to necessarily be always talking about product or knocking people on the heads about product, or even just posting stories from, you know, like moments in our life. That's good too. But to become like a real leader on social media means that you're leading people in a direction, that you're really fundamentally sharing, knowing that our audience is broken, that we have all these like broken people, you know, people broken around health, people broken around wealth, people broken around, you know, how to deal with their lives and their emotions and you know, whatever it is. And so everyone's looking for solutions to all the life things. So if you can come onto social media and do a live that's, you know, and you know, that's really that's vulnerable, that's truthful, that has a message, you know, of peace or unity, or here's how you get through this kind of thing, or here's how you create an atomic habit, or here's, you know, it's like, or here's how you, you know, here's how you sing a beautiful tune, here's how you sing in range, whatever. I'm thinking of, I'm looking at Zaya because she's a singer. And like all the different things, it's like, you know, who is your audience and what is it that you have that you're good at? What is something that you're good at that you can contribute knowledge about? It doesn't always have to be about superfoods. This is a place where we connect with our audience and a place that we start building rapport, and so that we can have conversations. And then we start having inbox messages with these people, and we start cultivating connection, and we start having relationships. So this is basically like How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is a really interesting, fascinating book. How to Win Friends and Influence People is like a historical journey of influencers and people winning friends from like Abraham Lincoln all the way up to the present day, right? So what do they do? How did all these people become so effervescent, enthusiastic, how do they derive such a strong following of people who love them and were so interested? What was it that they did that was unique or said, or how did they speak? And it's in that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And so if you're wondering, that's a great book to read if you want to learn how to go live. There it is. Stephanie has it. It's fascinating. I mean, it is like a page turner, in my opinion. That book, I was like, I couldn't get enough of it. So this is a way to build your audience. And of course, also always remembering to put 30 hashtags in your post. Even if you just have the same 30, you copy and paste the same 30 in your post. Like having 30, if you're not putting 30 hashtags in your post, you're missing out. You're truly missing out. And so every week, my aim is to give you guys something a content piece, something to post about, something to have and share. And so last week, I can't remember what the theme was last week, but I did show you guys a reel, guys and gaias. I showed you the reel of choices, and I saw that Tanya did it. Did anybody else do choices? Did anyone else get to that reel? I mean, part of it is you have to kind of know how to find reels and how to find the music, and it takes time to learn reels, but that was the theme. So the theme doesn't have to be a reel, but choices is a good topic, right? Having choices. How do you make choices? What choices are you making? Are you making choices in alignment with who you are? Are you making choices that are, I've been really fascinated by the intuitive eating movement, and I've been like kind of watching videos and researching, kind of learning what that is, and this concept of like, in the moment, am I tuned into the choice that my body really wants to make? Right? Whether like I'm eating too much or too little, it's like, am I listening? Am I stopping when I'm full? Am I, all these different types of things? How are we in alignment and making choices? So I'd love for you to think about that and bring that theme again, and you can continue that theme into this week. That could be something for you to share. And then also, what was my thought? And then unity, right? And just like naming the division and how can we come together? And then that's also going to be a place where you're going to welcome audiences and not alienate anyone's, that's a way to like kind of like bridge the gap with your audience too, if they to like let them know that you're there for them. So choices and unity are some topic ideas for this week. If anyone else has a topic idea, feel free to throw it in the chat. And you're welcome to, pop off. We can just have a little discussion here. So what thoughts come to mind?
Well, for me, like choosing sobriety and healthy choices, because I saw so many people yesterday partying with alcohol and just being kind of loud and all this energy. So, for me, it's choosing spiritual choices and meditating and being really conscious with energy and choosing beauty and art and, all the things that really make us feel very aligned and whole and sacred and centered.
Mm-hmm. Great. And so coming from the point of view, like as if you were going to do a live, right? If we're going to share with our audience, if we're telling people to make choices, how can we first identify with them and have them identify with us based on like, I've been there, done that kind of a thing, right? Like we never want to come off as lecturing, like I'm better than, I'm not saying that you're doing this, Deborah. This is just bringing up some thoughts that, for people in general, like how we can come off on our page. So remember the story lesson that we did about sharing our business story, which was like, what did I do? What didn't work? The solution I found and how I feel about the future, right? Those are the 4 questions. So if we can apply this to when we're doing a live, so that way we're also coming at it from a place of like, hey, I relate to you, my audience. Like I've had times where I've made poor choices, or I've had times where I've struggled, and what I have found, like here's how I found my way out of making those decisions, right? So the vulnerability in our posts is really important in a way, because it's something that helps people identify with us. So that, again, we're not alienating people like, oh, I've got it made. And they're just like, oh, another person who's like totally rock star, but it's like, hey, I've struggled and here's how I've worked through it. So I think when like presenting choices, it's helpful if we also identify with poor choices that we've made, and when we're offering new choices that we've made, and like sharing that solution. and how the impact of poor choices that it's been on us, right? The impact of poor choices, and then how we can now step into new choices. And how we stepped into new choices. You know, it wasn't easy, you know, like, you know, I don't think everyone needs to be vegan, but I happen to be vegan, but that choice was hard. It sucked. I was like, oh God, I want to eat meat. That looks so good. Oh God, is that my body? Is that my intuition? Is that, you know, like rationalizing? I mean, it was a whole mental freaking journey. It was not easy. And I did a live about this. I actually did a live where I talked about how hard it was to become vegan and how I really wanted to make that choice, but it was a struggle. And it took me about a year of like battling with myself till I finally, like, the cravings went away and I was finally okay with it. And what happened was it started all kinds of conversations with people saying, I really wanted to become vegan too. I so relate to what you're saying. And people were sending me private messages about it. And so just the topic alone, me sharing my struggle and how it wasn't an easy choice, actually started conversations. And there you go, my funnel started filling up just from, you know, me being, you know, real about my experience. So like that as an example. Thank you. Anyone else? And you know,
can I just say, I want to, you know, around here with the kind of people here who are so related to, like, we're so cool, we, you know, party hardy like this and did it. I probably might not even mention the alcohol part because that would be stepping on people's toes. But I might say vulnerably, like, I'm sensitive and I have to make healthy choices just to feel good in my body. And I'm noticing more, you know, what's working and what isn't. You know, I just want to add that in because
beautiful.
Yeah.
And you know, you've struggled in your body before with both pain, inflammation, and, you know, the knees and stuff, so you can relate. A lot of people can relate to that. Hi, Zaya, go ahead.
Hi. So yeah, I guess recently I've had a bunch of choices to make, and like I've had an issue with my sister, and it caused a lot of emotional distress. And it wasn't for a while that I realized I was feeling it in my body. And I had to, when she decided that she was going to get back in touch with me, I decided right now wasn't good. I had sent her an email and saying, you know, right now it's too much and I have other things going on in my life that are important, and I can't speak with you until this day. And I also, like, when I did the cleanse, I was like gung-ho and everything, and I finally realized a few days after that it took a lot of energy, and I needed to kind of make the choice to take some time to regain just myself again and look at what else I needed to prioritize. And it's kind of helped me take my power back by looking at what is most important right now that I have to do. And if I have to step back a bit from somewhere, then I do, in order to feel good about my choices and to feel good in my body and to take care of myself, so that I can continue on and be healthy and happy. And like last night, I did a post because I was feeling really off at the end of the day. So I decided to go on and do a post and talk to people about, you know, I'm not always peppy and happy, you know, and this is what's going on in my life. And I appreciate that you guys are listening to me. You know, I feel like I can talk to you and it'll help. And, you know, and I shared some other things about our meditation yesterday, how that helped. And that was a big thing for me, but it helped me get through. And I feel like I shared some of what we just talked about for people to say, this is what was going on and this is what I have to do, and please support me in this. And I feel pretty good about the choices that I've started making for myself.
Awesome. I didn't get a chance to see your whole video, but I did see that you shared about the meditation and everything. And so what was the message that you wanted people to come away with?
And I don't know that I thought about it at the time, but that I think that it's okay to share yourself, because it's not something that I always do, but to share kind of the good and the bad, or the challenging is, you don't always have to be like happy and peppy, because that's not how life is. And that people want to support you. So put it out there and it's okay to ask for help, and that people will give you the support that you need. And talking it out sometimes can really help you see what's going on and work through it and be able to move on and past it and be happy with what you've decided to do, or listen to it. And people will give you suggestions that can maybe help you move through something.
Yeah, people do want to help, and there's a time and a place for that too. I have definitely, when my parents were dying and everything, I was like, oh my gosh, like just sharing my pain in my page, and I got a flood of appreciation and love, and that was very connective. And so there's that kind of a post, and then there's a kind of a post that we're talking about right now, which is business forward, which is like, how do we attract people who are looking to be led? We're looking for something and looking to be led, right? Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'd like to share, just because I've been on Facebook for so long, and I always have a hard time when people go negative on Facebook. And I know that that's not what you're talking about. What you're talking about is that, and I really appreciate actually, Zaya, that you are doing that, because you're like me, you're a yellow, and it can be easy for us to just bypass and be like, chipper and happy and the life of the party all the time. And that is not necessarily what is going to get us to connect with people on the social networks. And that took me a long time to sort of like understand, because I'm not one that likes to show the darker side. When things are working me, I will go take them to my counselors and, my therapists and the people that I'm connected to that are supporting my, my evolutionary journey. And so, and having said that, I think it's so important when it feels right and the tone and the frequency is right to be authentic and share when you're having a difficult time, which is separate from going negative. Like what we were saying earlier about shaming, blaming, making others wrong. It just creates more trauma in the field, so we don't want to do that, so that's an art, what you're talking about, Zaya, and I look forward to listening to what you shared as well, because that is an art, to be authentic and real, and not be bypassing to the happy, putting on the happy, as I like to say, which is very common for many moms. And with the work I was doing with sacred birth work, it's very common for moms to just go, oh, I'm fine, everything's just fine. And that's just not the truth. So I want to encourage you all to be your authentic selves, even when the chips are down. I always appreciate it when I see others doing that. I don't know about I've cried online. I've cried when I've gone live, surprisingly, like I've surprised myself. It is hard for me to see photos of people crying. I'm like, ooh, I don't know that I necessarily wanted to see that, but I still appreciate it, like supermodels when they do that and stuff like that, because they always look so perfect and pretty, and and they have down days too. So sharing your down days, I think, is important in our work here.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I got some, Rach. Kind of a question, kind of going with the flow of speaking from that vulnerable place. So I'm like working on developing this space, my nutrition space, as well as like my personal development. And I mean, shoot, I'm out here doing my landscape and like trying to find the combo on how to adjust like all three of them on my lives, basically, right? Like, do I just do one for Purium? Do I just do one for my somatic stuff? Do I just do one for my landscaping? You know, and like, I'm wondering how to piece all those things together in my real life. I mean, that's what I got.
That's a great question, Ruben. And let's remember the 80-20 rule, 80% other stuff and 20% Purium. You don't have to bring Purium into every post. In fact, I really would rather people didn't. I really want people to be posting about other things besides just Purium related stuff. You don't have to try to figure out, how do I tie this all back to Purium? We kind of got into that mindset because we were all trying to get our 3 in a week. Every week we're trying to all get in like 3 lives a week that were all like, you know, product or business. And so there was sort of this stress that was created. And, you know, the golden rule in network marketing and in advertising and using our social media in general, no matter what field you're in, it could be photography or anything, is 80% other life stuff and 20% related to your business. So even when I was advertising as a wedding photographer, and that's how I started in social media, I was sharing about my life because that's what creates engagement and followers. And that's just really what is interesting to people and interesting to me. And people don't want to hear about wedding photography all day long, right? On Instagram, it's a little bit different than Facebook because people do follow pages like, I just want to see wedding photography, or I just want to see landscapes, or I just want to see cute puppies. But that's not what we're doing. We want to really become thought leaders, really. That's like how you become an influencer, is you're a thought leader. And you are that, Ruben. That is exactly what you're doing. And so I really do encourage you to keep it separate. So like, do a live about your men's work. Do a live about, self-care and self-pleasure. Do a live about your health and your journey, and you're serving other people with these products. It doesn't have to all be one. So I think that's a good question. I hope that was the answer you were looking for. Did that answer it? Was that what you were saying? You're frozen. Good. Okay, awesome. So for those who joined late, just for the question, what we're talking about it. Okay, awesome. For those of you who are joining late, the question is, how do we become influencers on social media? And so the 2 things we're focused on right now is making sure that every post has 30 hashtags. You can generate themselves or have me generate 30 hashtags for you from the algorithm app, which is called #expert which is for iPhones. I can generate 30 hashtags for you and you can just use them over and over again. I recommend changing it up a little bit once in a while, but those are going to set you in the algorithms. And then number 2, making sure that your message is one that's contributing value and helping others. And it's not just about like, hey, look at me, I'm so great, even though we can do those too. But we do want to have messages that are like, contributing value. And so this week's topic again is unity and choices. How we can, and you can do that and it still can relate back to health, or can relate back to Purium. And that would be another choice. That would be another topic for this week, is actually like how to support your immune system. Basic things, and it doesn't have to be product related. I mean, it can be like just telling people what they can do to support their immune system in terms of how they eat, having your plate be 30, 75% leafy greens and 25% the rest, or whatever, so like whatever your expertise is sharing on that. Who would like to go next?
I'll jump in, Rach. I just wanted to say, and to Ruben too, that very much in marketing, and especially social media marketing, done years of research and doing this, that it's really ideal actually to have 3 to 5 subjects that you post about all the time. So one of the first things they do if you take a course in social media is like identify 5 things that are you. And those are the things that people are going to find. Maybe it's puppies and you know, Purium, whatever it is, but, and then you consistently, so to just add to what we're talking about with Ruben, you can even, you know, Mondays I do somatic work, Tuesdays I do Purium, Thursdays, you know, and you can just keep a cycle like that to keep it organized in your brain. And each one, like Rachel's suggesting, is content that people can need or will be inspired by or use. And like, you know, so that's a very, it's actually the ideal way to be, as Rachel's saying. You want to have 3 to 5 things, not too many, because then people come to your feed and they're like, who is this person? But like 3 to 5 things that really, really are authentically you, and that you might know something about. You don't have to know something about them, but anyway, and just consistently post on those so people know who you are, right? And your profile should be that way too. Like, what's your profile say? As soon as they see your profile, who are you? Somatic therapist, you know, whatever it is.
That's great, Tanya. Thank you. Yeah. And in your Instagram bio, you can, and on your Facebook bio, you can just say, this is what I do. I help people blankety blank. You know, mine is like, I help people, I think, you know, transform their health and wealth or something like that. I don't remember. Help cultivating leaders. Let's use Tanya as an example. So she has a fitness, her brand is Boundless, which is her fitness studio. But if you go to her Instagram page, she has some rotating themes. One of them is like, she has blog posts that usually have some kind of like motivational or like something around health. She has her blog post, which is some kind of like a health question, usually a question or some kind of a tip, right? Questions are great. Anytime you post questions, people want to answer them. They want to take surveys and answer questions. So questions and posts are great. And then she also has pictures of her and her son. So she's showing herself as a family person, right? Like this is, I'm a single mom, here I am, you know, so she's like relating to that community. And then she has posts which are about rebounding, which are like, hey, my upcoming class is. So, and all of these things kind of tie together, obviously. It's lifestyle. That's what lifestyle means when you're posting about lifestyle. And she's sharing her lifestyle. I'd like to repost recipes. So I'll use a repost app. It's an app called Repost, and I can repost somebody's recipe. And so I like to have like pictures throughout my page that are food, that are healthy food, because I'm trying to help teach people to eat healthy. That is my message, is I'm here to help people eat healthy and be healthier. That is my overall writing message, is for people to have health in mind, body, and spirit. And then I also post about relationship, and then my ways of being healthy, like my daily walks on the beach and stuff like that. So there's certain things that I kind of mostly put in my stories, which are like my beach walks. And then there's other in life and just kind of daily life stuff are in my stories. That's sort of what people want to see, what you're doing all day long, right? So like share your daily routine, share your daily stuff, like just put those in your story. And then let your Instagram page be more curated specifically to your target audience, which is mine is like health and business. Like I want to be seen as a business coach. I want to be seen as a health coach and a business coach. And so I'm offering value in my lives. Okay. So sharing for people how to move through blocks and obstacles. Oftentimes, if somebody comes to me and they're having an issue in their business and I talk to them, I will actually go and do a live that addresses what we just talked about. And because I'm leading my whole team. My page is a place where I am also leading my team, and I'm here to provide content for all of you, and then anyone else who's going to become all of you, anyone else who's going to join the community and be part of this community. I am wanting to guide those people. All right. Anyone else?
Rach, before people start jumping off, I just want to share that Rachel is our special guest on Fierce Friday this Friday. She's going to be talking about story medicine. And this is a first for Fierce Friday. So if you don't know what story medicine is, if you've never had a story medicine session, come and learn from our crown, Rachel, and it's business forward. So Rachel's going to help us to understand how knowing our story, understanding our story, and sharing it in a certain way can benefit your Purium business. Thank you so much, Rachel. I'm thrilled to have you there this Friday. Can't wait.
Thank you. Yes, and story medicine is a term that I copied from a friend of mine who coined it. Meta Commerce. She created story medicine, and she's African American, and her whole platform is in the medicine story for healing the wound. And so I've adopted that name. I always give her credit when I talk about it because it's so special and it's hers. So, but this is something that I've brought into Purium, this understanding of why the story is so crucial and the heart of our business and what we do, and learning to be good at telling your story is so important. So it's really, I really want to like encourage you all to definitely be there on Friday, because everyone needs to learn the art of telling stories and to become good at this business. So thank you. Any last words? I'm going to let everybody go early today. I mean, we don't have to stay on. But if anybody feels like sharing or takeaway or something from this Zoom today, love to hear your voice. Or any inspiration you have for live. Yes, Naomi. Naomi, were you going to go?
I think somebody else jumped on.
Oh, that was me, but you go ahead, Naomi.
Oh, Amy, you got the floor. You're on.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you so much for this. You never know what is said is going to be so powerful, but the way everything was expressed so respectfully, it really made it like a micro collective of what the world needs to do. And it was really great. Like for Jessica to say, I have really strong opinions. It's a powerful statement. It doesn't need to attack anybody, you know, and it just acknowledges, and for you to bring it all up, Rachel, and for everyone to contribute to the unity. I really appreciated that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy. Really appreciate that. Naomi?
I just want to thank you for this amazing call today that we're all here. I love you all so very much. And I want to say welcome to my amazing BP, Cynthia, who is on the call today. My rock star, my angel who saved us through this amazing, crazy flood and tornado. And without her, I don't know what I would do, but I'm just so happy that she's here. And I just want everybody to give her some love in the comments and welcome her.
Welcome, Cynthia. Thank you, Naomi.
Hi. Hi, everyone. How are you?
We're loving you up.
You know what? I love you guys. I want to, you know, tell you, you guys are a beautiful group. And I can understand why you're so close and more people are jumping on board to join. Naomi, she's become one of my closest friends. You know, we check on each other all the time. If we need something, it's like second nature, we got each other. And I love that. But I feel like the whole group is that way. And it's such a beautiful community to be a part of. But I have to say, when Naomi checked on me today to see how my journey was going, and it's only been probably a good like 2 weeks with really, you know, getting involved with the product, I feel a lot cleaner and a lot happier on these products. And I went to a vacation this weekend in Virginia with my family. And I have to say, I ate, you know, the things they made because it was like barbecue stuff or some salads. But even that stuff, I didn't want to eat it. But, you know, I kind of feel like the outcast if I don't. So I had a little turkey burger without the bun. But as soon as I could make my shake in between time, I was having my shakes and my supplements, and I felt a lot better coming back to my routine today and getting back on it with my exercise routine and my supplements. I'm a big advocate of this, and I was even promoting it on my vacation to my sister-in-law. I said, or I should say my niece's sister-in-law, she's like my sister. She wants to do a 30-day reset. So I'm trying to slowly promote this to her without pushing it in her face. But it sounds like she's ready to do it. So I want to get her on a call soon.
That's awesome, Cynthia. I love the family pressure. I totally know it. My family's Filipino, and we're like styrofoam plates, plastic forks, everything toxic and non-organic imaginable, and just like digging our graves with their forks. And you know, it's kind of a joke I always say to them, you're digging your graves with your forks. But I relate to that. Sometimes we need to kind of just like join, when you can't beat them, join them for a moment, because that's also creating unity, right?
Yes, exactly.
We're not alienating them. We're saying, hey, I love you, I accept your food, I accept you, you know, and I you know, and it's a compliment to them.
Well, we exchanged recipes. So they made their stuff and I had a little burger, my turkey burger. And then I made a smoothie with coconut milk and frozen strawberries and honey. And I mixed some of our goodies in there too. And they were loving it. And the kids were loving it too. It was like ice cream.
That's great.
Yeah.
I feel called to call on Ashley Kahina. I think you go by Kahina, and Jilly. And I just want to, you know, since I think everyone else has shared their voices except you guys and Estelle, I would love to just hear anything.
Hello, thank you for having me here. To be honest, I haven't even completed the steps that it takes to get to come here, but I just have had so much on my plate with my daughters and navigating this healing, and so that is my truth, and I just feel so inspired to continue healing and working on what I need to do to succeed in this mission. And I'm really grateful to be here with you, and I feel like I showed up right on time to hear everything that I needed to hear, so thank you.
Oh good, I'm so glad. Thank you for sharing. And do you like to be called Ashley or Kahina?
Either one is fine.
Either's fine. Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you.
I'm glad you called on her, Rachel, because I wanted to acknowledge you, Kahina, for bringing me a Brand Partner Connect call last night that was powerful. We were on for at least an hour, and then they went on to stay on for a whole nother hour. So I just, you know, you keep showing up and you keep doing the things, Kahina, and I just really want to acknowledge you. Yeah, and for being here. And I know you're gonna, you know, get here for the long term, and I'm here to support you, and I know Autumn is as well. And then there's one other person I want to acknowledge, and that is Ms. Estelle Sheldon over there in South Dakota. Multitasking. She enrolled a brand new brand partner yesterday with a ULT Plus performance. And so I'm shouting you out, girl. Stephanie Rivera, she's not here right now, but she's in Washington, and she's really excited to get going with this business, and they are in action together. And I really want to acknowledge you, Estelle. Well done. Yeah.
You're doing great, Estelle. And I love your lives, by the way. I really enjoy when you go live. It's just always so real. And it's like you have like a great stage presence. You're just like fun to watch.
Thank you. I you were mentioning, you know, maybe like not being so opinionated one way or the other. I am also very opinionated, but I do want to hold space for, you know, people of other opinions, which is the majority of my family. So yeah, thank you for saying that. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm crazy town going live over there, but thank you. I love being part of this team. I feel really supported. So thank you.
Big hugs to you, girl. Thank you. Jilly, we've been missing you. You've been out traveling all over Canada, and I'm so happy to have you back.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Really great call. Yeah, you know, just trying to find my place again. It has been an absolutely crazy month. I didn't think it'd be that crazy, but it was, and just trying to find my footing again. I feel really off kilter right now. Just trying to get back in a routine. Yeah, just bear with me a couple more days, and I'm just I feel like I'm in this kind of weird transition. But I'm here, and I'm happy to be with all of you as always.
Did you want to share more about your transition? I felt like you wanted to say something.
You know, I feel like in a way, you know, I'm just sort of, I'm kind of a loss at words right now. I feel like my emotions are really high and I'm just trying to make sense of it all. So
loving you.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of words right now. It's more like feelings that I have, and I'm just trying to make sense of it and trying to find out who I am in some weird way. Like you guys are all bringing these strong opinions, and of course I have opinions and stuff, but you know, like where's my voice? What is my voice? I don't even know. I'm feeling a little bit lost in that right now, and yeah, just that's where I'm at. So sorry.
Yeah, you're totally fine right where you are. It's been a journey, and I just want to say, give you permission to take a few days to like reacclimate. I mean, it's kind of like coming back home after being away for so long is kind of like a culture shock, and then reacclimating, and take some time to unpack and clean, and just you kind of want to just hang out in your space and go, just enjoy, you know, just enjoy your space at home again. So be gentle with yourself. Yeah. Love you guys. Thank you so much all for being here. It's been really lovely. This was recorded, so if you feel like any team member you'd like to share this with, you're welcome to. And have a beautiful, amazing day. And please send me your lives. Tag me if you do the themes, immunity and choices. If you do something like that, just send it to me, because I may not see it if I'm tagged, because I get tagged in a lot of things. But I really do want to see your lives. Okay. Lots of love. Have a great day. Group hugs.
Bye, everyone. Happy New Year.
Rach.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, Rach, were we gonna do any work? I thought maybe.
Oh yeah, I forgot. It's power hour. Duh. We're all prospecting now. Now we're turning into the prospecting Zoom. I don't know what I was saying. It's because it's new for us. So anybody who wants to stay on, we're gonna prospect. We're gonna do the thing. We're gonna just like power hour it out. So we're gonna sit here. We have, I don't know why I didn't think about this, but I want somebody on this team to win the $1,000 and get the grand prize for reaching out to 40 people. So, you know.
When is that due by?
All over it. Paul's like, I'm winning that.
When is that due? Because they said they're gonna announce winners tonight. I thought it was due like.
So because they said it was like the 2nd through the 7th, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th.
Right, today's the 7th.
I just told them, I just said, my team's gonna submit at 3 o'clock today. I just said, we're gonna go till 3 o'clock and submit. So let's power it out. Let's submit. The point is for us to actually do the thing more than actually win the prize, because the prize is getting new people on our team. That's the real prize. So we're gonna just go ahead and hang out. You know, we'll hang out until 2 today, and let's just like get things done.
So Rachel, the question came up with calling, because a lot of people are on Facebook. We might not have phone call, like I don't have old numbers of old, you know, whatever, that we can call on Facebook.
Yeah, you can call them on Facebook, voice message them, you know, whatever it takes to get the ball rolling.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go get myself a little shake and do a little mini break here, but let's all stay on together.
Yes, Tal, please stay on while you cut your veggies.
I'm actually cooking dinner tonight, y'all. Me. So wish my family luck. All I'm gonna say.
Are you following recipes?
Nope. Wow. Going off the cuff here. We'll see how it turns out.